Hello and welcome to my channel. So today I am going to tell you my most anticipated books of the year 2025. So I'm usually not the type of person to have a lot of anticipated books and a whole list of them. I usually am the type of person who's like, oh my god, that book just came out, like finding out whenever it's happening. But since I'm a booktube girly now, I guess I had to find out what I want to read next year. So I made a list. I also filmed this video once, and my phone, it fell down and made my mic disconnect. So I filmed 40 minutes of nothing. It got dark already, but I thought I have to film this video today, so I am going to do that. So I'm sorry for the not so good light. I have 15 books, which are divided into different genres. So I will put down the timestamps for each genre so you can skip ahead or watch the whole video if you want. And if you like, then give it a like and subscribe for more content of mine. But let's head right into the video. So the first book, I am so stoked about this one. It is a dystopia. We're starting with the dystopia apocalyptic books. And it is, of course, Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, which is going to come out on the 18th of March, 2025. The book is a Hunger Games novel, which depicts the story of Haymitch, who is the mentor of Katniss and Peeta in the first three books, of course. And his Hunger Games were the second quarter quells, so the 50th annual Hunger Games. And the quarter quells were always special. That means that in this Hunger Games, instead of 2 tributes of each district, 4 tributes of each district came into the arena. It's going to be very special. We already know a little bit about Haymitch's Hunger Games if you've read the first 3 books. I'm actually currently rereading them for a vlog I started in summer. I have to get to it. And we already know that it's going to be filmed, so we're getting the movie, which I'm so excited about. It's coming out in 2026, I think, the movie that is. And yeah, this is going to be such a great release for the next year. The next book is an apocalyptic story, and it is called The Last Bookstore on Earth. The book is about a girl. It's a YA book and queer. So the book is about an already apocalyptic world where this girl is kind of living in the bookstore she used to work at. And now the world ends again, kind of. There's a storm brewing, and this other girl is breaking into the bookstore, and they meet there, and then they have to go through this apocalypse together, I think, with other people. So this is actually not something I would generally pick up, but I feel like the synopsis got me a little bit. It sounds quite interesting, and I feel like I should give it a try. It's coming out on the 7th of January in 2025, so not too far from now. And yeah, if you like stuff like that, definitely make sure to keep it in mind and pick it up whenever it's coming out. So we're done with the dystopia apocalyptic stuff. We're now entering into the fantasy. The first one is a cozy fantasy, which is about a woman who moves to this town where magic is happening. There are magical creatures living in there with her kindergartner daughter, and her daughter is bitten by a werewolf, and I think that means she's turning into a werewolf. There are definitely, like, a lot of magic is going on. the book is called, by the way, the Grimoire Grammar School Parent Teacher Association, and it is coming out on the 27th of May. Um, yeah, so basically, this woman, Vivienne, has to handle and manage her daughter's affairs at this kindergarten, but also living in this town with magical creatures, demons strolling around the school, I think. Um, and her daughter probably turning into a werewolf. So the book sounds quite fun. It's going to be, well, cozy and funny. And I think it's going to show a lot of stuff that mothers have to go through on a daily basis, with like meetings with teachers and handling other mothers, but with a magical touch. And I think it's going to be quite exciting. So yeah, that's that book. And that's the only cozy fantasy that I have for you. So we're moving on to the romantic fantasy. And this one sounds right up my alley. It sounds so good. It is called Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven. It's coming out on the 27th of February in 2025. Also, I have my laptop here, so I'm sorry if I look down. But well, this book reminded me immediately of Hancock, if you still know the movie with Will Smith. Basically, the girl, her name is Evelyn, and she dies in every life of hers. So, and not only that, but she's being killed by some demonic entity, or some entity, and that happens every time. And this time it's a little bit different because she actually quite enjoys her life in that body that she has. And that means there are three things she has to do. And those are, first, find the centuries old enemy who hunts her through each life and destroy them forever. Second, figure out exactly why she's being hunted in the first place. And third, try quite hard not to fall in love with them again. So yeah, it kind of sounds like Hancock, where two fates are destined to always see each other and I guess fall in love. But when they're together, they die or something like that. Well, basically one of them dies and the other kills them. So it just, I love enemies to lovers, and this sounds like a real good enemies to lovers, because sometimes the enemies to lovers is just like 3 pages of them bickering or whatever it's called, and then they fall in love, which is not my type of enemies to lovers. So yeah, but that one sounds really good. The next one is called Iron and Embers. It's also a romantic fantasy coming out on the 6th of February 2025, and it is the first in a series, and it is about Ren Ambervale, and she is an alchemist turned assassin. And she only wants one thing, and that is vengeance for her friends who died from past wars. But then the king is being poisoned, or like alchemy is used on him, and Ren has to find out what kind or what is happening there, because she was an alchemist, and that's why she is brought to this academy where she has to undergo deadly trials. And the most dangerous thing there is not the dangerous trials, but the person who has to keep an eye out for her and make sure that she is not been killed or something. And he's an assassin as well, and they hate each other because he had to assassinate someone, but she did it first or something like that. But they have a past. Now we're moving from the romantic fantasy to the dark academia fantasy, or just dark academia. Well, it's all fantasy. I love dark academia. I haven't read a lot of dark academia, but I am a big fan of books that take place in university or an academy or boarding school, and I think that's just my German ass being, well, kind of, I don't know, excited of like foreseeing like this typically American dorm life or whatever that we don't have here. This one isn't particularly set in a boarding school, but I feel like this dark academia vibe is always giving off that kind of stuff. The book is called I Am Not Jessica Chan, and it is coming out on the 28th of January. And it is about Jana Chen, who is a normal student, but she has always lived her life in the shadow of her cousin, Jessica Chan. She is flawless, Jessica, that is. She is the best student. She always, without a fail, has the best grades in her test, and she is accepted to Harvard University. And Jenna, one night, I feel like she wishes she makes a desperate wish to become her cousin. Well, and it just comes true. And then she finds out her life isn't perfect either. And the worst thing is that people start forgetting that someone named Jenna Chan ever existed. So I think she tries to get back her life because her parents, her friends, everyone forgets that she was even there. The next book is The Incandescent, which is also a dark academia fantasy book. Oh yeah, that one sounds very nice. It is about Dr. Walden, and she is the director of magic at Chetwood Academy. She has she's teaching the A-level students, the chaotic sixth formers. She has a lot of meetings, and she has to secure the boundaries of her school against demon entities, which sounds interesting. So that's her job. And she's very good at her job, but you know what? The worst thing of them all she has to protect her students from is herself. And yeah, I don't know. It sounds interesting. It really sounds interesting, and it's a little bit different because it is from the director's perspective and not from students' perspective. So it just really sounds interesting. So I'm very stoked to read that one. It's by Emily Tesh, and it's coming out on the 13th of May in 2025. Oh, then another dark academia fantasy. That is the same vibe, of course. It's called That Devil Ambition, coming out on the 3rd of June 2025. This book is about a guy who is at this academy or school, and he is among the 12 best students, I think, 13 best students in this elite school. And he enters a class, therefore, with the other 12, and their only assignment is kill their professor. And if they succeed, they get a scholarship, which I don't know if that is like, I don't know if that's fair, but whatever. I mean, in America, the student loans, they are very high, so maybe that is a fair price. That's the only good thing about my German ass university, that I don't have to pay student loans. So you win some, you lose some. But I don't have the perfect dorm life. But whatever. And if they fail to kill him, or their assassination attempt fails, they pay with their lives. Which I guess is still better than paying off the student loans. So, it's a win-win for everybody. The next one, we're now entering the horror books, but this one is still a fantasy. And it's also expected to come out in summer on the 22nd of July. And this book is also a dark academia fantasy. But also horror. It's about the Hellbore Technical Institute of the Gifted. And this is an academy where antichrists, Rangrocks, and world eaters and apocalypse makers meet. At least that's what they told to Alessa, who has been forcefully kidnapped and forcefully enrolled into that school. But at the opening ceremony, or on graduation day, something happens and a rampage is run through the school where the schooling staff is eating the students. I don't know, but they are eating them, and then our protagonist Alessa can hide in the library at Hellbore with a few other students, and but the sad thing is they have to give a human sacrifice each night in order to not die and not be all eaten. So yeah, the next book is a horror, and it is called Wake Up and Open Your Eyes. This book is expected to come out on the 7th of January, and it is about this guy whose family believes a lot in conspiracies. The protagonist doesn't, and he moves away. But then his calls to his family are being left unanswered. He travels back to his family to see what's happening, and there he finds them in this trance state in front of the TV. And then when he tries to wake them up, his mother attacks him. And I think this is very much a book about like current situations and like holding a mirror in front of society, and a lot of reflection on nowadays society, especially with everything happening currently in the world, and a lot of media being consumed and a lot of conspiracy theorists running around. So yeah, sounds interesting. I've never read something quite like that. It intrigued me, I guess. The next one is also a little bit of commentary on nowadays society, and it's called Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang. It's coming out on the 29th of April, and as you can maybe tell from the title, it's about racism and the corona pandemic. It is about this crime scene cleaner who saw her sister being pushed in front of a train with the last two words that the murder spoken, being Bat Eater. And she, basically cleans up the crime scene. She is imagining stuff while doing it, and she doesn't really know where reality stops and her imagination begins. So she is kind of getting crazy. And what also is weird is that most of the people she is cleaning up are East Asian women. So yeah, there is something going on, and that's that. The next book, we're switching genres dramatically because we're going to go into the romance books. The next one, it was on my radar before I even researched for this video. It's coming out on the 4th of February, and it is Deep End by Ellie Hazelwood. I've read The Love Hypothesis and nothing else. My sister has read a lot of her books, and I think all of them. And this one sounds good because as much as I love uni stories, which this is also a uni story, and academies and boarding schools, I also love sports romance. And this is a sports romance, but not your typical sport. This is about a swimmer. She is a swimmer and he is a swimmer, and he's the team captain. They don't have anything in common really, but then a secret slips our protagonist Scarlett's lips, and that kind of bonds them, I guess. That's all I'm getting. And I love swimming. I really do. It's my favorite sport. I don't do it often, but I really like swimming. So, how couldn't I be excited for this book? The next book is also romance, of course. It is Spiral by Bal Cabra. This is a hockey romance. It's the second book of the Off the Ice series, and I have Collide here, but I still haven't read it. So I don't know if this is actually an anticipated book or not, because maybe I hate her writing style and everything the author does in this one, but I don't think so. And I'm going to be happy on the 28th of January to be reading this one. I don't know. It's about a hockey player and a ballet dancer, which the next book we have that is a romance as well is Build a Girlfriend. And that book is supposedly coming out on the 14th of January. And it is about a girl who is sure that her family is cursed in the romantic sector, at least because there are heartbreaks happening, up to tragic deaths, which is crazy and sounds very suspicious if you ask me. But yeah, that's what is happening at her family, and that is why she tries to be the perfect girlfriend and is going to all of her ex-boyfriends to ask them why they broke up and to optimize herself as a girlfriend. And then she is stuck to one of her exes who she enters into a relationship with, I think, and then yeah, to become the best girlfriend for her next boyfriend. But I think we all know kind of where this is going. It sounds very interesting. It is definitely not my trope. I really don't like second chance tropes, but I'm willing to give this a chance because it's something different. It kind of sounds fun. I hope it's not like this film with Noah Centineo where he has like a different personality and goes on so many dates and whatever, because that movie was shit. I hope it's not like that. And now we're coming to the last book, which doesn't fit into any category. I wrote it down as coming of age, but I don't really know what coming of age is, to be honest. I just categorize everything that is like feeling nostalgic and just like a story coming of age. So yeah, there you go. It's expected to come out on the 3rd of June, and it is by Taylor Jenkins Reid, of course, Atmosphere, which is about a woman who is a physics teacher, not a teacher, I think she is a professor, Joanne Goodwin, and she is obsessed with stars. And then she finds out that NASA is searching for the first woman scientist to join a group, the Space Shuttle program. And she, of course, is the one they take from thousands of people and that applied. And she's working alongside very big brains. And then something happens. It says, then in December of 1984, on mission STS-LR9, everything changes in an instant. So that sounds super fun. Taylor Jenkins Reid, I've read Carrie Soto's back by her, which it could have either gone both ways. Like, either I would have hated it or I would have loved it. And it happened that I really loved it. It is still one of my favorite books of all time. So I'm very happy about this one. I'm also currently studying physics, which I'm not very good at it, I admit. But yeah, I am just so happy for this to come out. I think it's going to be awesome. And those were all the books. I hope this time the tone actually recorded, and I hope we'll see each other in the next one. Please let me know what your favorite or your most anticipated book of 2025 is going to be, so I can look into that one. And yeah, until then, bye bye.